Good morning, all of you. So, what we do is that we will do like seven prostrations, 7 or 10 prostrations, and then followed by, and we sit, take a seats, and we'll do our daily meditation. From tomorrow, we'll see if there's a possibility to offer lights for everyone, for all of us. If there's a possibility for lights, Ajay Dinjala, what's the possibility for getting the Yes, and if there's a possibility, what we can do is that usually for the other retreats, what we do, we offer the lights first, and because that the number is quite big, when we offer the lights later, what we do is that we take all these lights in a tray and take it out. That the fume does not the the come the fume goes out. So this is what we do, and for that is for tomorrow. So for as for today, let us make 3 prostrations. Okay, the Chambala not here. Chamba, Chamba is not here. The translator. No, not my translator. There is Chambala and her mother. Her mother is here. Oh, okay, it's fine. Ah, okay. At the moment, she's meditating. Okay. Let's make some the like 10 prostrations together and then sit down for the morning practice. Okay. Astangela, we can do this in the next session. So we can place them. Okay, let me quickly explain why we are doing the morning practice. Let us not think that the morning practice is like a ritual. It's a part of the ritual of our retreat. No, this is not the idea. Idea is when we conduct such retreats, let's say the retreat for like usually it's like 10-day retreat, and recently we had a very intense 10-day retreat. Sharmilaji was there. Oh, Yubir, no. The Manjurji was there in the Bir Deer Park. Hansla was, yes, Hansla was there, and Tensu Kungala is there, and yes, Kabirji is there, I remember it. And then, Taraji, you are there? No, not there. Okay. So the three of them. The idea is that in the retreats, people learn about how to awaken one's own potential. After learning this, oftentimes the question that comes from the audience is that how can we sustain this practice? Finally, it's like practicing music, that we need to do it on a daily basis. So not just do it for 2 days and then stop. It will not take you anywhere. So the question is how to sustain the practice. For this matter, we were doing this morning practice and for us to learn. And oftentimes, some people, they say, my friends who are very pious, very religious, devoted, what they do is that they do lots of prayers every day, like the 2 hours, 3 hours a day, just reciting, and finally doing this for the like 20 years, 30 years, and then the mind remains the same, no improvement. So therefore, how to do this? We require, okay, Avinash, come. How to do the practice? So we make the practice very short. Like here, in the collectively or in group, we see that it may take us for about like maybe 1.5 hours, but the 1.5 hours in group, when you do it on your own, it'll take maximum 45 minutes. And that too, if you do it in a very precise way. Whereas, if some of us are busy in the daily responsibilities, under such situation, I would suggest you to do start something like what we are doing, something of this kind, minimum for like 10-15 minutes a day. Every day you learn how to do that, then this will be very, very beneficial in the long run. After about like maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years time, you will see the benefit. And this is what many of my friends actually reported. So with this in mind, let us turn to page 3 of the Blaze, the red book, the Blaze, page 3. And for all these practices, the motivation plays a very important role. Motivation. The great Tibetan masters, they speak of the two essential activities, one at the outset and one at the end. Let me repeat it. The Tibetan masters, they talk of two essential activities, one at the beginning and the one at the end. At the beginning, setting a proper motivation. Setting proper motivation, that's very important. And number 2, at the end, and dedicating the merits properly. So for setting proper motivation, in fact, again, the thing is that some people work so hard for like 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and at the end they don't get anything. It's just meager, the small amount to feed one's belly. Whereas for others, they sit in the AC room in a very comfortable place, they put one signature and crores of rupees turnover happens. So this is where, so it's when you think properly, when you recite the verses, where the benefit is enormous versus you recite versus same amount of time used, but the benefit is so less. So who decides? Your motivation decides. If the motivation is, if the motivation, setting motivation properly, for example, like motivation we consider of primarily three things. One is the refuge field, Jamdo, first refuge field, Jamdo in Tibetan. Next is Bodhicitta field, Semke, Semke. And third, the purpose of the practice, the purpose of the practice. If you can think of these two things, these three things so well before you start the practice, these will make the whole difference. All like, so for us together, it's going to be like 1.5 hours. This will be extremely productive. Whereas if you don't think of these 3 points and just recite these anticipatory great compassion and so forth, Sankhya, social, without thinking, the benefit is going to be so less. So therefore, let us try best to make sure that to build it like a habit for us. For example, when I was younger, in my younger days, when I was in my 20s, 30s, certain problem motivation was not really there, not really there. And later on, I discovered that this is a big loss on my part. When you don't do the proper setting of the motivation, just do the prayers directly, the benefit is so less. So with this mind, let us be say do a setting proper motivation. Okay, just sit with your sit and think of Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas Bodhisattvas in front of you. And that to how you visualize them, that they are so loving, caring, and embracing. How the mother gazes at a child with so much love and affection. And also for the Bodhicitta field, visualize your two kind parents and all of them members around you and all dear mother sentient beings living there aside. And here you are like the mother and all others are like children. And the purpose of this practice is to attain fearlessness, is to get rid of all the miseries and to expand your happiness to infinity. These are two purposes. And getting rid of the miseries or attaining fearlessness is technically known as nirvana, attaining nirvana. And expanding your happiness to infinity is technically known as Buddhahood. In other words, we are seeking nirvana and Buddhahood for yourself and for all the sentient beings. And how to attain that is we all have the treasure within us. Just like the water, like the gold mixed with the mud. The gold is not visible. And ordinary people may throw this gold, but the gold experts will not throw this, will remove the dirt and the gold will, remove the mud and the gold will become manifest. This is what the experts do. So now that we are learning, experts like the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and those enlightened masters, they taught us how to remove the dirt, how to remove the mud and make the Buddha nature inside us, that the solid diamond to manifest fully. So how to do that is by identifying what is the root of these problems, the root of these, the mud. The root of mud is the ignorance, technically self-grasping ignorance. So how to get rid of the self-grasping ignorance is by introducing the counter force. Counter force is the wisdom. So generate very strong desire to cultivate the wisdom, to remove the mental dirt so that you will experience the fearlessness and infinite happiness. Also, expand your compassion towards all the beings, even though there may be some difficult people in your life. Think of these people also, that they out of ignorance that they're behaving how they behave, Otherwise, they also have to Buddha nature. Everybody has to Buddha nature. And just expand your compassion to everyone, all sentient beings. And imagine that you are leading this practice, and all beings are joining us. All beings, everyone, even the tiny insects, animals, cats, dogs, the spirits, god and goddesses, everyone is joining us, and you are the one who is leading this practice. So with this mind, let's turn to page 3. Let's turn to page 3. And I did mention this yesterday, that those who feel later on, those who would feel comfortable to gradually move this prayer from English to Tibetan, kunjabla, jela, simgi tu supo sayo, jela, kuna su piyuhinga su tamsila, kazu ser. Ah, shimunme. Okay. So the Tibetan version we brought only 4, because that okay, we have only 4 copies. So maybe the best would be we will leave in Anugoma for the others to use them, or others who are well versed in Tibetan and you want to have this book, I'll be very happy to send them by post to others. Okay, page 3, ready? And to your great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And to your great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all the perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And to your great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sangye joda zoge jonam lo chanju bado dane gyabzu je dage jinzo gebe tsonam ge dola pencere sangye nubare shu sangye joda zoge jonam lo chanju bado dane gyabzu je dage jinzo gebe tsonam ge Tola benjir sanje dubare sho sanje joda zoge jonamna chanjo bardo dane gyabzo che dage jinso kebe sonamgi Tola benjir sanje dubare sho. I go for refuge and terminal enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations through the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is freedom of liberations. Okay, here in this group, we will also recite the Tibetan form, which is transliterated, given above. We'll read that together. Angi denjin de wara jo gaba meba geme ba cheba meba dame ba o meba drome ba tade teme tenje me cheba nirshi shiden ba sobe sanje manamge tamba tela chase lo Niandu jiwa sonam gunshe nige nishe tenze kanyen dan Chola pembara chenam lamshe nige jikden dundu zebak Kanda yanda dembe tuna namba kunde naso de somba Niandu chanju sembe I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all leads hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths causes souls helping migrate to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which help subdue us expand variety of teachings. Tsemara Yurba Dola Pensheba Tumba Deshe Gyobla Chase Lom. the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata and protector to your administrations, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines for the forever noble light rays to you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Okay, I forgot to read that when. Tobe Tawa Namze Jin Sabjin Yaje Gunga Wa Kundu Sambo said Kune Chola Chase Lo. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generated the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, now that we already know the meaning of this mantra, we'll recite it 3 times together by contemplating on the meaning. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Meaning of the mantra. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Sabshi tude vese de manje duze tabu chushi kuing sula shejang huara menu pe mema nage ne su ne bara sha. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite, such is the nectar that Dharma have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching, in silence I return to the woods. Masam jeme jera paru jin mage mega namke nguing sozo rari je ju ba tuzum gewe yomla chanse lom. Beyond our trends, thought and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseized, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times of obeisance. The forces of Buddha's teachings, Tawang Chageshi, Chugud or Chugdomshi. Duje damje medaba, saje damje dungeba, chu damje dongshin dameba, nyangele deba shiva wo. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness, transcendent sorrows, peace. Lama sanje lama shu, deshe lama gendun te, gunge shebo lama Lama Namla Chanse Lo. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. Chunga Chenpo Daye Ne, Simje Dunge Targish, Keba Jeba Samye Su, Chuden Ziji Shu Gyuru Ji. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expansive eons. Tubnam Degba Chui Mitru Xing, Tuwe Dungen Chage Misel, Nige Doba Shenla Pome Te, Chunyi Temba Tembe Tubare Gyur. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. Okay, this verse is very powerful, very important. It says that the Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings. Say our miseries are because of the causes, and it's not that somebody can come and do some, say, washing and your miseries are removed. This is not possible. And the Buddha will not remove your miseries like the removing the thorns. So in his own realization, spiritual realizations, he cannot transfer to us. What he does is that it's only through teaching that we learn it and then we walk the path and your miseries will be eradicated. This is the only way. So for example, the parents can help the children to study, but the parents cannot study for the children. Children have to study on your own. If you want to really clear the UPSC board, the exams and so forth, children have to study. Parents can facilitate, give the facilities, but the parents cannot study for the children. The children, they have to study themselves. Teachers cannot sit for the exams for the children. Children, you have to sit for exam yourself. So this is what example the Buddha is saying. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings, their ignorance will be liberated, removed, and the miseries will stop, and your tears will stop. Okay. Chonam gunge sangye la temo charte suwa ne simje dunge muntum la chuge drume bardus with folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. Instruction on parting from the four attachments. Tsedila shena chuba min, korwa la shena nyeju min, rangdön la shena chansen min, zemba chuna dawa min. If you attach to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you attach to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you attach to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there's grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the fourth destroyer, completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When all supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced our 7 strides and set up supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. But pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, witness of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like a spotless moon, color like gold to you I prostrate. Dusty like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees from attachment, the virtue that frees from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies or prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, who feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, but from only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four falls, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, let's now turn to page 29, Heart Sutra. Okay, as we read the Heart Sutra, Shirab Nyingpo, so which the young nuns who recited yesterday, and we read in English here. Every time we read the Heart Sutra, it's so important for us to remember 3 points. The first point is that with the background given, where the Buddha presided over the gathering and meditating on emptiness. And Aravarutishvara Sheriputra, two of them are there, surrounded by all the monks, nuns, the great bodhisattvas, they were all around, and the devotees all there. So 3 points not to miss. First one is, what is the question asked by Shariputra to Arya Avalokiteshvara. Okay, so the background information is that when the Buddha was sitting in meditation, Shariputra stand up. Shariputra stood up and then asked a question to Arya Avalokiteshvara. Shariputra stand up and asked a question to Arya Avalokiteshvara. So what was the question asked? This is the first one. What was the question asked by Shariputra to Arya Avalokiteshvara? Second, what was the response? What was the response given by Arya Avalokiteshvara to Shariputra? Number two. Number three. Number two is what? What response Arya Avalokiteshvara gave to Shariputra? Number two. Number three, the benefit of practicing what Arya Avalokiteshvara taught. Okay, first, what was the question asked by Shariputra to Arya Avalokiteshvara? Number two, what was the response given by Arya Avalokiteshvara to Shariputra? Number three, what is the benefit of practicing the teaching Arya Avalokiteshvara gave? Three. Okay, let me quickly explain what these three things are. The first, what was the question asked by Shariputra to Arya Avalokiteshvara? When we read this, we'll see this, that Shariputra stood up. It was the Buddha, when in meditation, Buddha blessed Shariputra to stand up and ask question to Arya Avalokiteshvara. So as blessed by the Buddha, Shariputra stand up and asked Arya Avalokiteshvara, how should a child of the lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? This is a question asked. How should a child of the lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? What does it mean by that? The child of lineage. Child of lineage meaning, for example, in the olden times, a prince is considered to be very important. Even though the prince is very young, age 4, 5, 6, 7, still the prince is considered very important. Why? Anyone? Why the prince in the olden times is considered very important? Why? Anyone? Okay. Kabirji.
Because he'll carry on the legacy of the ancestors for the king.
Because he is going to be the holder of the legacy of the king, which means that he's going to become the next king. And who's more important, next king or the next Buddha? Next Buddha is the most important thing. So therefore, although we don't have the capacity to become king in this life, but we have the capacity to become Buddha. You getting it? So just as a prince is holding the lineage of the king, the prince is holding the lineage of the king, each one of us, we can become the lineage holder of the Buddhas. How can we become the lineage holder of the Buddhas? Lineage of the king and lineage of the Buddhas. Lineage of the Buddha is way, there's no comparison. Way more precious. Because king, at the most, you can help your kingdom. That's it. Whereas a Buddha, you can help all the sentient beings. So therefore, we all can become the lineage holder of the Buddhas. Okay. So Sonamnath, can you translate the... Yes. So translate well. Okay. So what I'm saying is that each one of us, we can become the lineage holder of the Buddhas. How can we become a lineage holder of Buddhas? Buddhas doesn't mean Buddhism. Buddhism means somebody who wants to awaken the treasure for the benefit of yourself and for the benefit of all the sentient beings. So when you say that I will become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will be the happiest person, I'll become the most fearless person to help all the beings, that time you become the lineage holder of the Buddhas. So as a lineage holder of the Buddha, what should you do? You should remove the Dhamma inside. Dhamma inside is mixed with the mud. Your job is to remove the mud. the damdul will come out. It's already there inside us. Remove the mud. How to remove the mud? Mud is the metaphor for ignorance. We remove the ignorance. And how to remove the ignorance? How to remove the ignorance? Losar Pinzo. Huh? By practicing wisdom of emptiness. You're getting it? So it says, how should the child of lineage practice the perfection of wisdom? Practice perfection of wisdom meaning how to practice wisdom. So then Aravalokiteshvara explained how to practice wisdom. Aravalokiteshvara explained in great detail how to practice wisdom. Okay, so then at the end, number one is what is the question asked by Shariputra to Aravalokiteshvara? Number two, what is the response given by Aravalokiteshvara to Shariputra? Number three, what is the benefit if you practice to see everything like a dream? What's the benefit? That all our fears will drop, all our the anxiety, unhappiness, sadness, all will drop. This is the benefit. Number one. Number two, that all the Buddhas of the past, Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness, that all the Buddhas of the past, this is the only entrance gate. The wisdom emptiness is the only entrance gate to the total liberation. This is the only entrance gate. So this is the benefit. When we contemplate or reflect, when we meditate on the wisdom of emptiness, we're actually entering the gate to liberation. Okay, so these are three things that we need to remember as we start Heart Sutra. Ready? The Heart Sutra, the Professional Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the Arya Tubal gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on Mass of Valshas mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Then through the part of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness of form, emptiness not other than form, form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composition factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composition factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no phenomenon. There is no I element, so on up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging in death and no extinction of aging in death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, also no non-attainment. Shariputra, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on dwelling in the professional wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly, completely awaken, unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the professional wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the professional wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, mantra equal to the unequaled, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of the professional wisdom is declared Tyatha Om Gade Gade Bara Samgade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound professional wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, saying, well said, some the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound professional wisdom, just as you've indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitavatiputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara, those around in the entirety, all over the world of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Okay, we'll recite this mantra 7 times together. And meanwhile, the contemplating or reflecting, reminding ourselves that I should keep improving my compassion. I should keep improving in my wisdom. There's the only way how I can stop all the miseries for myself, for my family members, for all the sentient beings. And imagine all the Bodhisattvas watching us. Tawang gate paragate parasamgate bodhisvatyatha om gate paragate parasamgate bodhisvatyatha om gate paragate samgate bodhisvatyatha om gate paragate parasamgate 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 bodhisvatyatha. By the teachings of three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, let us turn to page 35, 8 verses for training the mind. Page 35. When we recite this, when we read this, what we remember is that we need two things. That we need to work on two things to build the two wings for a bird to cross the ocean of samsara. We need to have the two wings. Likewise, to cross the ocean of samsara to get to Buddhahood, we require two wings: the wing of the wisdom and the wing of compassion, or technically speaking, the wing of the wisdom and the wing of the method. Tap sherab, wisdom, and tap, the method. And the method, the most important, which is compassion, bodhicitta. So the Heart Sutra is to build the wing of the wisdom, and 8 verses for training the mind is in lieu of building the wing of the method. Tap. to build the wings. So for the compassion part, the method of the compassion part, how to cultivate this compassion. It's easy to talk about compassion, but really practice is very difficult. To talk about compassion very easy, but to practice is very difficult. Now, how to practice it is we need to make two efforts. Say, if you build like this beautiful hall, we require two things. First, we have to level the ground. We have to level the ground. Meanwhile, also bring the materials. Two things. Likewise, say our mind, which is full of selfishness, self-centered attitude, anger, attachment, so forth, particularly say the pushing others away from you, and with the anger and the ego, these are the factors to be removed, number one. Number two, we need to gather the conducive factors, expand your compassion. So there are two things. One is remove the non-conducive factors or the discordant factors, and the other to create the conducive factors. We need to put effort in these two ways. Remove the discordant factors and gather the conducive factors. So here, discordant factors are ego, primarily ego and anger. Because ego and anger push others away from you, and the bodhicitta embraces everybody. So to embrace everybody, if you push, that is the cause of hampering your bodhicitta practice. So therefore, this teaching will tell us how to cut the anger, how to remove our ego. And it says that when I encounter with somebody, very difficult person who's abusing me and so forth, just let me take the suffering of others on myself. Let me take accept the defeat, and let the victory be of others, be with others. So here many people think that, oh, Buddhism is very self-denial. Buddhism is a very self-denial religion. It only talks about suffering, taking suffering yourself. It's very self-denial. It's not. It's an extremely wise approach. What really makes us miserable is our ego and the anger. So these techniques are deliberately taught to counteract our ego and anger. So when these two are counteracted, the person becomes very calm and peaceful. When you become calm and peaceful, your immunity will be boosted. Your immunity will be boosted, and the doctors here, and okay, any other doctors or the nurses, nurses here, nurse, doctor, we have doctor and nurse here. Okay, so they know this. The calm mind will boost your immunity. Once your immunity is strong, you will not contract the diseases, illnesses very easily. So you remain very strong. This is so important, so important. So, and meanwhile, think of cultivating the unconditional love. How to cultivate this? By two methods. One is the sevenfold cause effect method in Tibetan. Kunde Mengadun. Jumbe. Kunde Mengadun. Unless. Na. Kunde Mengadun. Ani Shabbat Kare. Ah, Dashin Yawad. Oh. These young nuns are already expert. Very good. I'm so impressed. Very good. Okay. So, with these two methods, first one is the sevenfold cause-effect method, Kunde Mengadun, and the other one is method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. The method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. These two methods, we have to study them, and contemplate, and try to apply in a real life. Then we see that your compassion actually grows. Your compassion grows, you become more compassionate, and you become happier and happier person. And the small things will not trigger irritation, agitation with us. Otherwise, very selfish people, if the small things go wrong, they just blast into anger and become so egoistic. This is a problem. So, on these 8 verses will help us. Okay, let's read it slowly. 8 verses for training the mind by Geshe Tangpa. With the determination to achieve the highest aim, for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrong with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have held or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extreme hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by its stains of aid, mundane concerns, and may recognizing all these as illusions, devoted clinging be released from bondage. From my two collections, vast the space that I've amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdomized blind of ignorance. Okay, 7 in practice, Yelna Dumba. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri. You, the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, God of freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions, to all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle are Buddhas, numberless as particles. Each of them is a host of bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the space, the aspects of my voice, I send the breathtaking accidents of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugatas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense offer to victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, scented powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all bundles offerings and spectacular array offered to victorious ones, with transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in all the Buddhas out of the way, offered and bowed down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merits of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request to you who may actually spread nirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated with by making prostrations, offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, I will now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, mandal offering. First we'll say this in English, followed by Tibetan. The mandal offering, it is a gesture of offering the best that you can think of to all bodhisattvas so that you can you become the perfect recipient of all the blessings in the form of the wisdom and the compassion. This ground, adorned with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun, and the moon, I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sashi Ge Jo Shi Me Do Cha Sho. The fourth Dhammas of Venerable Kamboba. May I be blessed that my mind directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is freed of flaws. May I be blessed that flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four Dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva, becoming utterly frustrated by the ignorance that grasps a true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as vicious and repulsive. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ranam and Lagam Nirateyami. Okay, the next foundation of all good qualities. Thus far, what we've done is that we have laid the ground. Now we are using this short text, which has only 14 verses, as the roadmap to awakening your treasure of ultimate happiness within yourself. Okay. The foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and a perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of by clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect, understanding that the price of freedom of this rebirth is found only once is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous come and follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, great cushion arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I've fallen into sea of samsara, so for all Mother my created beings, please bless me to see this twin and supreme bodhicitta and bear the responsibility of freeing my created beings. Even if I develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 times of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I've pacified distraction through wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate correctly within my mind's frame the unified path of Kamabhati and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing is the true attainments, is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledge my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, essence Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and his spiritual friends who practice it for long lives, please bless me to pacify completely or allow to any inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualitative stages in the path, may cool attain the state of Vajratara. Okay, we'll say this first in English, followed by chanting in Tibetan. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages who land whose nose, Losar and trouble at your feet and make prostrations. Okay, we'll chant this together 3 times. Kembe wambo Okay, thus far we've already laid the ground, we've already created the blueprint or the roadmap to enlightenment. Now we could do the actual practice. Actual practice consists of four parts. Number one is a single pointed meditation. In Tibetan we call it Shine, Shine, Shine Gom. The first one is Shine meditation or single Shamatha meditation. Number two is renunciation, the four seals. Number three is bodhicitta practice. Number four, wisdom of emptiness. The four things. And then we take the aspirational bodhisattva vow. And taking the aspirational bodhisattva vow, anybody is entitled to take it. It's not necessary that somebody should be a Buddhist. Even if you're a non-Buddhist, it's fine. It doesn't matter. So the commitment is that I will not harm others. I will try to help others as much as possible. If not, at least I'll not harm others. This much, if you can commit to yourself, you're entitled to take this aspiration bodhisattva vow. Okay, first, let us do the 5 minutes of the breathing meditation. Okay, today I'll give the instruction on the breathing meditation or shamatha meditation, Shine. Okay, for this, our mind requires to be trained. Finally, what we learned is that our mind needs to be trained in the wisdom and compassion. For the wisdom is like the light. So, for example, we like to read books, and there's no power, there's no light in the nighttime. There's no the light, or there's no there's a power cut. Then they say light a candle. So the candle should have, this candle flame should have two qualities. One is that the candle flame should be very bright. If it's very feeble, then it will strain your eyes. You cannot read the books with a very faint light. It should be very bright light. Number two, not only that it should be bright, it should be also very steady and stable. If the light, although it's very bright, but if it's flickery, again we see that the that it will strain your eyes. You cannot read books with the flickery lights. So the light should be very steady. Number one, light should be very bright. Number two, light should be very steady. Brightness is where we need to study more. We study and our mind will become very bright and sharp. Then the other one is the life should be very steady, stable. For this, we need to learn how to meditate, single point meditation. Okay, so what do we do now? The otherwise all the sessions we dedicate for sharpening our intelligence, brightening the light. Now, what we do now is to stabilize, remove the flickery aspect of the light, make it very stable. So how to do that? For that matter, we need four things. This is also known as Shamatha meditation. Shamatha meditation. In Tibetan, Shine, Shine Gum, Shamatha meditation. And for this, we need four things to keep in mind. One is the body posture. Body posture, how do you sit? Number two is the focal point. What are you going to meditate on? Number two, what you are going to meditate on? Number two. Number three, identifying the errors of meditation, identifying the mistakes of mistakes or errors. And number four, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Let me repeat it. Number one, body posture, how to sit properly in the meditation, body posture. Number two, focal point, Focal, focal point. Number two, focal point means what you are going to meditate on. Number two, focal point. Number three, identifying the errors of meditation. Identifying the errors, ERRORS, identifying the errors of meditation. And number four, applying the remedies, applying the remedies, REMEDIES, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Number one, body posture. Number two, what is number two? Focal point. What is number three? Identifying the errors of meditation. Number four, applying the remedies to overcome the errors. Very good. Okay. So the first, body posture. Body posture, we need to know this is known as the sevenfold body posture, posture of the Buddha Vajrayana. Buddha Vajrayana 7. The number one is cross-leg position. If you know how to sit cross-leg, that's good. If not, it's fine. For the cross-leg position, what do you do is that your left foot first. Begin with the left foot on the right leg. Left foot on your right leg. Then the right foot on your left leg. Okay. If you can do it, well and good. If not, don't worry. This is number one. If you can do this for then and the Sangela, do you have mattress? Okay, good. So if you can do that for long meditation for like 1 hour, 2 hours, and so forth, you can retain the freshness of the mind with this position. This is very good. Then number two, backbone upright. Backbone upright. So if possible, if you have backache problem, that's a different story. Otherwise, back should be upright. Don't lean against a support. Don't lean against a support. Sit upright. Whereas, if you have knee problem or if you feel more comfortable sitting on the chair, it's also fine. You can sit on the chair. And if you have backache problem, then of course you need to seek the support. But if you don't have a backache problem, the best is without leaning against the support. This is extremely important. It says that the spine should be like the arrow, very straight spine. Then your head tilted forward a little bit, Then eyes not closed, eyes half open. 45 degrees cast down and just ignore. Eyes not open, just keep it very natural, 45 degrees cast down and ignore. Then your teeth and the lips in their natural course. And your tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate to avoid excessive accumulation of saliva in your mouth. And breathe normally. Don't force your breath. Don't control your breath. Just breathe normally. And your right hand on the left hand, right hand on the left hand, and the two thumbs joining, standing, joining, forming a triangle. Place your two hands on your lap in a restful state. Okay, this is your body posture. What is number two? Body posture done. What is number two? Focal point. Focal point, there are so many kinds. And it's not that one is right, other is wrong. All these are correct as long as they're coming from a proper lineage. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a very simple practice. One is like, say, the bead, like the size of this bead, but white in color. White in color, visualize between nose and upper lip. Okay, just scratch the space between nose and upper lip. Scratch it. Don't look at it. Just scratch it. Do you feel that? Do you feel that? You feel it. Okay. Now scratch from behind. Don't look at it. Scratch yourself. Do you feel that? You feel it. Yes. When you say I feel it, your eyes are not looking at it, but your mental consciousness is feeling it. So your body, the sense consciousness, body consciousness also feels it, but the mental consciousness says yes, it discerns. So your meditation, your eyes are not meditating. Your mental consciousness is meditating. We need to learn how to segregate eye consciousness and the mental consciousness. So eye consciousness will not meditate. Eye consciousness just keep eyes open, 4 or 5 discuss down, ignore. And the mental consciousness should be meditating. Okay, this says, and the way you visualize a tiny white dot with no nose and upper lip, tiny white dot. Just think of this. Number one. Number two, this is known as multitasking. Multitasking, meaning while you focus your mind there, you also count your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Combined together is one cycle. Again, breathe in, again, breathe out. Cycle two. This is what we're going to do for 5 minutes. Okay, this is number two. What is number three? In other words, for number two, focal point, there are two things. One is white dot, visualizing one dot. Number two, counting the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Just leave behind. Forget everything else. Just focus your mind on the breath and the white dot. This is your focal point. What is next? Number three. Identifying the errors of meditation. When you meditate, there can be two errors. Errors meaning mistakes. There can be two mistakes. One is your mind will keep wandering, getting scattered here and there, wandering. That's one problem. This is known as mental excitement. What is known as gupa in Tibetan, gupa in English, mental excitement. Other one is where your mind feels sleepy and heavy, lethargic and heavy. This is known as chingwa. Chingwa and gupa, mental excitement, and one is mental laxity. Mental laxity and mental excitement. These are the two problems of the meditation. What is next? Applying the remedies to overcome the errors. So when these two things happen, either mental wandering, mental scattering, or mental laxity happens, then you have to apply the remedies. Remedies in Tibetan is known as Nyenpo. Nyenpo. And applying the remedies, they're twofold remedies. One is introspection. In Tibetan, Sheshin. Sheshin. In English, introspection. And the other one is mindfulness. In Tibetan, Tempa. Okay, so what is Sheshin? Sheshin, in your meditation, just keep an eye on your mind to see if your mind is meditating, or your mind is distracted, or mind is falling asleep. You have to check it, keep checking it. That checking is known as introspection. Then the next, when you see that your mind is scattered, or falling asleep, then you have to bring the mind back to the intended object of the meditation. That is done by mindfulness. Mindfulness is like the rope to bring the mind back to the intended object of the meditation. Okay, so for the body posture, sevenfold Buddha Vajrayana's position. For the focal point, two. What are they? White dot and counting the breath. Counting the breath. For identify errors of meditation, two errors. What are they? Mental excitement and mental laxity. Two. And the remedies, two. What are they? Introspection and mindfulness. Introspection in Tibetan is Shishin and mindfulness is Tempa. Very good. Okay, now we're going to do 5 minutes of meditation. Ready? Okay, good. Okay, next is renunciation, which we'll do based on the four seals of the Buddha's teachings. So this is going to be guided meditation. It's going to be guided meditation. So if you look at this, the Blaze, the book, you'll see all these in sequence. Second is the Shamatha is done. Next is the renunciation based on the teachings of the four seals. Okay, this is going to be guided meditation. We're not going to read the book. This is just for your reference. Later on, when you are in your room on your own, going to flipping through the pages, you can see that sequences well there. And then accordingly, you can learn it well. That on a daily basis, you can include that as a part of your practice. That'd be very helpful. Are you ready? Okay, now this is going to be guided meditation. We will not look at the book. Just keep the book aside. Okay. Um, so what is important is that we just follow the instructions. Follow the instructions, and at times, if first is all right. After this, we're going to go for the bodhicitta based on the four immeasurables. So then, we may feel that some of the practices seem so superficial, and it doesn't matter. We start with the superficiality, and gradually it'll become real. For example, it is like practicing music. Practice music. Initially, we don't have the say. Even though you mimic your teachers, the teacher, the who plays a very beautiful music, you mimic that, but no music comes. Only noise comes out. But you keep mimicking, keep mimicking. It's very superficial. Keep mimicking. Gradually become very beautiful music. So this is the meaning of the practice. Are you ready? And as much as possible, try to invoke the respective experiences. Don't try to correlate what you are hearing today with what you've learned before, what you have read before. Don't try to correlate. Just focus on what you're doing today. If you want to correlate at all, you can do it. Not now, later on. Okay, at this moment we will dedicate to invoke the the to the best of your ability the experiences associated with these guidelines. Are you ready? Immeasurable. Sorry, the renunciation. Renunciation means to renounce our miseries. To renounce the miseries, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. And in fact, by renouncing miseries, you seek happiness. And oftentimes people have a misunderstanding. Oh, Buddhism is very self-denial. It's talk about suffering all the time. No. It's to talk about suffering, to remove the suffering so that you can experience the ultimate happiness. To remove the suffering, to renounce the suffering, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the suffering. The Buddha taught, Ye dharma hetu prabhava, hetum tesham tathagato hyavantat, tesham chayo nirodha, evam vati mahashramane swaha. All these phenomena arise from the causes. Unless we identify the correct causes and put effort to remove these causes, no matter what we do, will not attain freedom from suffering. So for that matter, we need to remove the cause of suffering. What is the cause of suffering? The Buddha taught the ignorance is the root of the cause. Quantamic karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, and ignorance. To get just imagine, like the 5-10 million years ago in the Arctic Circle, the icebergs, they're extremely firm and strong. If you build buildings on top of this iceberg can withstand all the weight of the buildings. But after 1,000 years, 2,000 years, now, due to global warming, even icebergs, they become so weak and they melt. When they melt, whatever is stacked on top of this iceberg will all crumble down. This is exactly the ignorances like the iceberg upon which all our sufferings, inappropriate attention, quantum karma, the afflictions and contaminants, they are stacked. The moment the iceberg of the ignorance melts, everything what is stacked atop will all fall apart. This is the liberation. We'll be liberated from all miseries. Okay. So to get rid of this the ignorance about the thought, the wisdom, and the wisdom but identified four important wisdoms, which you will find in the form of the four seals of Buddhist teachings. First, all composite things are impermanent. And impermanence. Think of the impermanence. We see that in our life. We've witnessed that many people in life, they passed away. And our youth also disappears. And the wealth exhausts. Friendship ends in the conflicts. Believe it or not, 1,000 years ago, in the same place here in Tawang, there are so many people, the parents, the children, and the parents have so much expectation from the children. Children also have the expectation of their career. Now, where are these people 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago? Where are these people now? They are no more today with us. And it's not that they are unfortunate, we are very fortunate. No, it's a matter of time. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, not even a single person out of 8 billion human beings will be alive then. That's a reality. Whether our dreams will be accomplished or not, we all have to leave this world. This is reality. This is the meaning of all composite things impermanent. Buddha taught, whatever gathers, disperses. Whatever is accumulated is exhausted. And youth is followed by old age. Good health is followed by sickness and illness. Birth ends in death. This is impermanence. If this impermanence which is so visible, is marked by the subtle impermanence, momentariness. The body that we have now, the hall that we live in now, and this cushion on which you are sitting, they're all changing momentarily. We don't see them with our eyes, but through electromicroscope, we see them. It's like vibration. All composite things, they are moving so fast. It's like my vibration. Our bodies move so fast. The beautiful hall is also moving so fast. Your parents, your children, all family members, everyone moves so fast. Move fast towards what? Move towards what? Move towards death. This is the reality. It's very scary. And after that, what happens is all determined by the causes. In our case, imagine that you are thrown in a very fast-moving train. What do you feel? Very scary. The faster the train moves, the more the fear. Why? We don't know where this train is taking us. If the train, and who decides where the train is taking us, is decided by train driver. If the train driver is your mother or our father, no doubt it will take you to a pig spot. But the train driver is the terrorist. It will only take us to the miseries. And in our case, unfortunately, while the driver is the mind, but the mind is under the dictate of the worst of the terrorists, worst of the contaminations, which is self-grasping ignorance. Okay. As long as our mind is under the sway of this worst of contaminations, is only miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as the second seal. All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Suffering like what? One moment of suffering, losing near and dear ones, is good enough to nullify all the past moments of the merriments, festivities, birthday parties, and so forth. One moment is good enough to nullify all the past moments of merriments as so shallow, hollow, and meaningless loss of near and dear ones. Yes, that's true. And when will these stop? When this misery stop? 2024 stopped on its own. 2020 stopped on its own. When will these miseries stop? They will never stop. Impermanence is of three kinds. One, where the continuum stops invariably, like 2024. Another, where the continuum never stops, like time. The mind, they never stop, they continue endlessly. This third category, which never stops, but if you put a concerted effort, then it can be brought to an end, like our miseries, self-grasping ignorance, our selfishness, and so forth. These are the ones which create so much pain on us. They will never stop on their own. They will stop only if you put effort. What kind of effort? Effort, the wisdom, knowing that all these problems are rooted in ignorance. And to counter the ignorance, it must be done by introducing wisdom. And what is that wisdom? There's wisdom to see everything like a dream. Wisdom to wake us up from this dream of ignorance. Just imagine that we seeing everything like a dream. Just as when you wake up, the dream tiger will not create fear in you anymore when you wake up. So likewise, nothing in the universe can create fear in us when you see the emptiness nature, emptiness of objective reality of things. Just imagine that you are seeing the emptiness of phenomena. Okay. So when you see the emptiness nature, then all our miseries will stop, all our sorrows will stop, all our attention will stop. This is the meaning of the fourth seal. Transcendent sorrow is absolute peace. Okay, stay in this experience for a while. Okay, may I discover that everything is like a dream as soon as possible by studying, reflecting, and meditating on the wisdom of emptiness. Make a very strong commitment that I must engage in the study, listening, studying, contemplating or contemplating or reflecting, meditating on the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, if I can experience this wisdom, non-dual wisdom of emptiness, all my miseries will be transcended. This is the meaning of nirvana, and the ultimate form of this experience is known as Buddhahood. Now generate very strong desire. May I experience this emptiness of object reality with all phenomena, and where all my miseries dissolve, and your peace of mind is restored. So this aspiration is known as renunciation. Okay, slowly come out of the practice before we move to the bodhicitta. Are you ready? For the bodhicitta, we will begin with we will do that based on the four immeasurables. Of the four immeasurables, today we'll do the first two immeasurables. Ready? Okay, again, it's going to be guided meditation. Try to, as much as possible, try to invoke the experiences. Ready? Okay, given that this practice of the bodhicitta requires a lot of support from Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, let us invoke all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, particularly Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas with us. And also bring to visualization your two grandparents, all of our members, the children, and all other dimensions sentient beings with you. The first, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. Causes of suffering primarily consisting of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear sentient beings beings are free from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you making such a courageous commitment, the intense happy and proud of you, like the mother after all these many years of raising her children. Today, the eldest daughter, just aged 12, and the eldest son, aged 11, two of them come to the mother, telling the mother, Mother, please take rest. You've done everything for us. And we are grown up. Now we are grown up. We'll take care of our siblings. And the mother could not believe her eyes in years. The tears of joy flowing in her eyes. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhas. Bodhisattvas. So proud of you. And this joy and happiness invoke their compassionate minds to send forth nectar as very sweet and light towards you and all dimensional beings. The mere touch of light and nectar with the bodies being yours washes away all the miseries and the cause of the miseries from all your dimensional beings in yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening towards all your dimensional beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sound with relief. Next, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear ascension beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. May all my dear ascension beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear ascension beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you're making such a courageous commitment to the intense happy and proud of you, these pride and happiness invoke their compassion mind to send forth nectar as very soothing lights to you and all the messenger beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the body speaks yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness, primarily the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of the Bodhicitta. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to all your demonstration beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the 5 immeasurables is the unconditional love. Stay in and abide in this experience of unconditional love towards all the beings, imagining that you are looking at the eyes of each of the sentient beings with total love and affection, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves so special in your eyes. With folded hands, I will say Buddhist commitment, line of Buddhist commitment, and we'll all repeat this 3 times together. Wholeheartedly say this, even if it is superficial, it doesn't matter. This is the meaning of the practice. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. This is the most beautiful mind, the most appealing mind that possibly exists in the entire universe, and today you've generated that. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean, white moon disk, horizontally sitting on the heart. Okay, it's amazing that you made such courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, but remember, no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, I know that. I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil does come out. But if you have this, the Buddha nature, like the sunflower seeds, if you have Buddha nature, why not that is awakened since time immemorial till now? Yes, it's all because that I'm deceived by the two demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. Today I'm disillusioned by that. I'm going to do everything to exterminate the two demons. Okay, what are you going to do? I'm going to introduce a very powerful remedy to overcome the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. Okay, just imagine that you are now realizing everything like a dream. Just imagine that. Objectively, things are all empty. Subjectively, things exist. Objectively is empty, emptiness. Just imagine that you are just seeing that everything's like a dream. Objectively empty. So this realization will, of course, this is just the, this is not the real experience. It's just the mimicking. But if the real experience comes, they will guarantee that all your miseries will stop. And you teach this to other beings miseries also will be stopped. Okay, slowly transform this most fearless mind with the wisdom of emptiness into a spotlessly clean, thumb-sized, white Vajra, vertically sitting on the Montesquieu heart. Okay, now generate very strong compassion to all the beings. You have the Vajra moon. The moon is symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta, Kunsub Chanjup Sem. This will guarantee that your self-centered attitude will be exterminated. And Vajra is symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta, which is the non-dual wisdom of emptiness of Arya Bodhisattvas. This will guarantee that all your mental stains will be eradicated completely, so that the Buddha nature inside will manifest, and you experience the total fearlessness and infinite happiness, and you share this with all the demonstration beings. Okay, with this mind, let us turn to page 50. Page 50 of the Blaze of Non-Bodhicittas. And tomorrow we'll try to do the complete practice. Today we are doing just the half of it. Okay. Let's recite these three verses together wholeheartedly. The first verse is, it says, I go for refuge to Triple Gem. You are going to undertake a journey of cleansing your mind of all the mental defilements, so that all your miseries, stress, and anxiety will be shunned, will be eradicated. For that matter, that awakening your true nature to manifest fully is referred to as becoming a Buddha. So you undertake a journey of the full awakening. And this journey requires a lot of support. And the greatest support that you can think of is the Triple Gem. The first line says, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. Now, you have great support, but if the road, if the road is blocked by the boulders and the falling trees and so forth, again you cannot undertake the journey. The road must be clear. And this road is none other than your own mind. Your mind is the road to enlightenment. This road must be cleared of the negativities such as anger, ego, negative karmas, affliction, and so forth. And how to remove them most effectively is by confessing the negativities individually. So second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Now that the road is very clear, but if the car does not have the fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. So the car is none of your own mind. This car of your mind must be filled with the fuel of the virtues. And how to accumulate this enormous virtue within the short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of others, virtues of yourself, virtues of all the other beings, but the bodhisattvas and all the ordinary beings as well. So third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Okay, now the road is very clear and the currency in the fuel. What kind of journey are you going to undertake? The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, let's wholeheartedly say these three terms together. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all their beings. I hold their precious brotherhood in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all their beings. I hold the precious brotherhood in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all their beings. I hold the precious brotherhood in my heart. The next two lines is invoking gurus, buddhas, and bodhisattvas to be here to you. And the first verse says that if I were to become a Buddha, but in the world, in the history of the humanity, is there anybody who succeeded in this journey of enlightened attaining Buddhahood? Yes. 2500 years ago, there was a prince by the name Prince Siddhartha, and he succeeded in his journey of becoming enlightened. And how did he succeed? For two reasons. The first, he generated a very strong bodhicitta, desire to become Buddha for all sentient beings. Number one. Number two, that to materialize this aspiration, we engaged in the bodhisattva practices. Or if this is how he became Buddha today, I would also like to follow his footsteps. How? By creating these two factors. First, I'll also generate very strong desire of the bodhicitta to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. Number two, to materialize the aspiration, I'll also engage in the bodhisattva practices like 6 perfections, 10 perfections, and so forth. Okay, wholeheartedly let us recite these two verses together. And to the completion of the third repetition, imagine that you receive the aspiration bodhisattva vow. Okay, together. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy of having received this bodhisattva vow. We are very fortunate, and imagine all the bodhisattvas you have requested to be the witness to our untaking ceremony. They are also extremely proud and happy, and imagine that the Vajra moon from the bodhisattvas, they multiply infinite number of times and share one set with you, one set with your mom, one set with your father, one set with each one of the family members, your children, each of the beings here in Tawang, each of the beings in the entire world, in the entire Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. Now everyone has a Vajra moon, thereby blessing all of us to become enlightened very soon, that we don't have to suffer anymore. All sufferings will be put to an end completely, and that one experiences, that all sentient beings experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness. Just feel that experience for a while. Okay, next let's turn to page 51. Page 51. Okay, now the Vajra moon that visualized and blessed by the Buddhas Bodhisattvas. We are very fortunate in this life that we have come in contact with this teaching of the discovering your treasure inside. And in the next life, shall we meet with the same teaching? This question. So, to make sure that next life we still meet with this precious teaching, we include them in the form of a very powerful prayer. So this is the verse which is included here for us to wholeheartedly say this, so that in the future lifetimes as well, we'll meet with this teaching together.
throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Okay. The next verses, before we conclude, the next verses, these are taken from Bodhisattva Shantideva's book, A Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And why we are reading this is that I'm sure that you will agree with me that to meet with the Dharma is one thing. Say, for example, today we're talking about compassion, we're talking about the wisdom and so forth. How many of or of the 8 billion human beings, how many people actually heard about emptiness? Out of 8 billion human beings, guaranteed, like 7.9 billion human beings, they did not hear emptiness. So we already came in contact with these teachings. So coming in contact with the teaching is one thing. For example, the Munpas, their birth, they come in contact with the teaching of the Buddha. But then, how many are serious is so less in number. So the thing is that when we say the come in contact and then take maximum advantage. For example, you go to the treasure island in a ship. You go to treasure island. Once you're in the treasure island, you just keep lying, sleeping, not taking extracting the treasure. This is very unfortunate. Having come in contact with the Dharma is like going to the treasure island. But once you are there in the Dharma, then you have to take advantage of this, study it, contemplate on this, and meditate on this as much as possible so that our fears, all our anxiety, stress will be stopped. And because of you, many people can be benefit out of your good example. So the next verses they are to make sure that in the future lifetimes, after meeting with the teaching of the Buddha, then we practice it very seriously so that real benefit the accrues within us. Okay, let's read this together. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have loosened seas and awakened mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now am one of Buddha's children. Thus, whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. Is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is this inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. Is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It is a tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is this universe bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is the great sun that finally removes the mystic ignorance of the world. It is the quintessential butter from the channel of Melodama. For all those guests traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the bounties of happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and it shall place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors and the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight, may gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, now, dedication prayer. Let us dedicate prayers and dedicate the merits that's gathered. That is holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that is wishes that he lives long, and that is wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. Also, let us dedicate the merits that's gathered, that people here in Tawang, they take the maximum advantage of having been come in contact with the Buddhist teachings, practice them well, and the miseries come to an end. And also that all the beings on planet Earth, in our own country, in the entire universe, that they meet with the teaching of bodhicitta and wisdom emptiness, and with this practice, they live in harmony instead of the killing each other, instead of sending missiles, instead of the, the destroying the whole world, destroying one side, other side, and instead everybody lives in harmony with a sense of sisterhood and brotherhood. With this mind, let's recite the dedication prayers together. I dedicated merit das gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas 3 times, and to the upholding the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May in all lives, through the forces merit, never separated from the four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect within the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the shield-beating Buddha for all those whose minds were blinded by ignorance. Okay, hearts with the mantra 3 times. Tiyata Bom Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. 3 persuasions together.